Hey, good evening. How are you this evening? Doing okay? Hope so. Got a class tonight, so as I do with most classes, going to go through my little ritual at first. Take a bottle of Valor. Love this essential oil blend. This is a fantastic one. Take that, put a drop on my finger. There we go, and right on the brainstem. Love this stuff on the brainstem. Really is wonderful. Now, Valor, as you may know, I call my liquid courage. It is my courage in a bottle. Even though I was a disc jockey and radio personality for, almost 34 years, um, I'm not comfortable speaking, public speaking. Just really not thrilled with it. So all you can use all the courage I can get. And protection too. White Angelica. Love this blend. This thing, the aroma, it's fantastic. What it reminds me of, oddly enough, and I put that on my temples and my forehead and on the crown and in my hair and in my beard and pretty much anywhere. What White Angelica reminds me of, oddly enough, is one of my grandmother's perfumes that she would wear specifically on Sundays. And when I used to stay with her on the farm, she would wear that, and it just reminded me of that security, that protectiveness that grandmothers have toward their bratty little grandkids. Anyway, okay, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to start off here with this disclaimer. The class is called Einkorn Ancient Grain, the Staff of Life. Now, this information is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The information represents what I, an independent distributor of Young Living essential oils, have chosen to do to take charge of my own personal health and that of my family. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. If you are pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or have a medical condition, please consult your physician before using these products. There, that's the disclaimer. And we, if I say we, I'm referring to myself and my wife Lori, and I. We are from Banks, Oregon. I'm originally an Iowan, transplanted through Colorado, Indiana, back to Colorado, back to Iowa, out to Colorado again, and now out to Oregon. Radio gypsy, as it were. Lori, homegrown Oregonian. So go figure. We've been Young Living users since 2015 after a series of unwellness. And it was not pleasant. We won't go into that, but it was really bad. We used oils. They helped support my body, and I'm still alive 5 years later. So that says something, because the doctors gave up on me. Now, we are going to talk tonight about Einkorn Ancient Grain. If you have not heard of Einkorn, it's starting to come back a little bit in the stores. A lot of health food stores and a lot of natural grocery stores are starting to carry ancient grains in their flour section or in their bulk section, where you can go and get your own kernels and grind them yourself. Well, einkorn is one of those ancient grains. Let's begin with an explanation of what einkorn is. Einkorn wheat einkorn is a German word literally meaning single grain. Ein, E-I-N, that means one, and then corn, K-O-R-N, grain. So einkorn, single grain. Now, it can relate to two different species of wheat. It can talk about the wild form, the wild species, which is Triticum boeoticum. That's how that's pronounced. Or the domestic form, which is Triticum monococcum. That's the one that we use today. That's the modern domesticated wheat. Well, I should say it's the ancient domesticated wheat that is still grown today on farms. Einkorn is a diploid species of whole wheat, and it has tough glumes or husks to it. It's not the fall off the stem kind of wheat that you see a lot today. Now, those husks really tightly enclose the grains. Now, the cultivated form is similar to the wild, except that the ear stays intact when ripe and the seeds are a bit larger. Now, according to archaeological evidence from Syria, hunter-gatherers in the Fertile Crescent. Now, if you haven't heard of the Fertile Crescent, it's in the Middle East and is widely regarded as the cradle of civilization. Now, that's where hunter-gatherers may have started harvesting einkorn as long as 30,000 years ago. Einkorn wheat was one of the first plants to be domesticated and cultivated by humans. The earliest clear evidence of domestication of einkorn dates from around 11,000 years ago from archaeological sites in Turkey. Now, remnants of einkorn were also found with the Iceman mummy, Otzi. If you haven't heard of him, Otzi, he's the Iceman mummy that they found. And they found some einkorn grains with him, and that's dated at 3100 BC. Eventually, the cultivation of einkorn wheat spread to the Caucasus, also the Balkans and Central Europe. Einkorn continued to be cultivated in some areas of Northern Europe throughout the Middle Ages. So it's been around a long, long time. It's grown alongside human civilization since ancient times. Thousands of years before supermarkets began selling highly processed flour, families used to gather around meals created with this superior ancient grain. Over time, as man began hybridizing plants for greater yield, the growing of einkorn as a crop faded away with the advancements of modern wheat. And that's really a shame. There were still pockets of land here and there where einkorn was grown, including the Provence region of southeastern France, or Provence, depending on how I didn't take French. I took German in high school. So if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please forgive me. Now, einkorn has been in the Provence area of France, and it's been a staple for a long, long time, even to today, as either boiled as whole grains in a porridge, or also some areas of Italy, Morocco, and Turkey and India also grown einkorn. And that is a domesticated crop there as well. As far as nutrition goes, einkorn flour is prized for its compatibility with the human body. Untouched by hybridization, einkorn has retained its primitive genetic code that contains only 14 chromosomes. That's a key. That's a huge difference from the 42 chromosomes that most modern hybridized wheat has. Einkorn wheat is also more abundant in many vitamins and minerals than modern whole wheat. Einkorn does contain gluten. It does contain gluten and has a higher percentage of protein than modern red wheats, and is considerably more nutritious because it also has higher levels of natural fat, phosphorus, potassium, pyridoxine, and beta-carotene. So it's a healthier wheat. A lot of that has been bred out of modern wheats. The uses of einkorn in cooking and baking, they're endless. You can use it for anything. Einkorn has a very pleasing, rather sweet, nutty flavor that makes it a very easy substitute in recipes that call for modern, highly processed flour. Many people who are gluten sensitive have been able to transfer over to an einkorn flour diet. Now, not exactly right away. You don't just go cold turkey from one to the other. You kind of work your way into it, but up with einkorn recipes that gluten intolerant people have been able to eat and not have severe problems as they would with regular wheat flour. And that's mainly due to the chromosome difference between einkorn and modern wheat. Now, let's talk a little bit about GMOs. I know that gets tossed out there a lot. GMOs, kind of a hot button in today's society. And when you talk about GMO versus non-GMO food, GMO, if you don't know, stands for genetically modified organism, and is a plant, animal, or microorganism or some other organism whose genetic makeup has been modified in a laboratory using genetic engineering or transgenic technology. This creates a combination of plant, animal, bacterial, and virus genes. Oh, I don't like to use the word virus right now, but it's in there. And those that do not occur in nature. So it's not a natural plant. It's not one that naturally grows in the wild. It's one that is created in a lab then planted. And it's not using crossbreeding methods. Now, traditional crossbreeding has improved many fruits and vegetables over the millennia. It really has, including apples, citrus, melons, and more. Have you ever seen a picture of what a watermelon originally looked like before people started using selective breeding and crossbreeding? It was like this little hard apple-like thing that had mostly seeds and just a little bit of flesh in there. But then as you did traditional crossbreeding, it became larger, juicier and stuff. And then you got the GMO who came in and started messing things up even more. But, with the natural crossbreeding, you can get added size, shape, and flavor along the way with plants naturally, without the use of GMOs, without cross-contaminating with something that's not purely watermelon or apple or pear or wheat. And it's when the mass commercialization and modern technology got in there, that's when things started to go wrong. The human body was not designed to digest a great number of these modified plants. Case in point, wheat. Ancient wheat includes einkorn, spelt, Khurasan wheat, also known as kamut, frike, bulgur, farro, and emmer. Those are all different ancient wheats. Modern wheat is a hybrid descendant of 3 of those ancient wheat species. And it's usually considered to be einkorn, spelt, and emmer. Why those 3? One, they're the easiest to pronounce. That's what I thought anyway. But, you never know. You never know why they picked those 3. But einkorn was one of them. Modernization and non-natural hybridization have changed the wheat plant considerably, making it virtually unrecognizable from those ancient grains from long ago. It's much harder for the human digestive system to break down implications of modern wheat, which in turn may be a major contributor to the dramatic increase of gluten intolerance and celiac. So the more ancient your wheat, probably the better you are able to digest it. So where is einkorn grown today? Well, Young Living founder Gary Young found einkorn for the first time in the Karimabad Valley in Hunzaland, which is in Pakistan, back in 1996. Now, it took 4 years before he was able to get that word that the Pakistanis used to translate it and find out is, oh, they're talking about einkorn. Once he found that out, he went and looked for some seeds, and he found some in Jordan on the east bank of the Jordan River right across from Israel. So Gary Young took the seeds to France, started planting, and watched it grow. Now, Young Living's einkorn is grown in locations across the globe today, including Sémien-la-Rotonde in France. Again, please forgive my French pronunciation. The Golden Einkorn Farm in Sauve, France, as well as the Skyrider Wilderness Ranch and Skyrider River Ranch in Tabiona, Utah. And they've also started growing some up at the Northern Lights Black Spruce Farm up in British Columbia, Canada. Now, Canada, great place to grow wheat. They're well known for their wheat. So it's nice that einkorn is heading up into the Great White North. And the nice thing is the einkorn that's grown is grown by artisan farmers who use traditional methods, farming practices, and they appreciate non-GMO crops. And they're also free from artificial flavors, artificial colors, and preservatives. Young Living's einkorn products are branded as Gary's True Grit. So if you go on the website, the Young Living website, and you're looking, well, Jay was talking about einkorn, so what, well, the einkorn products are labeled as Gary's True Grit, which is not to be confused with the 1969 John Wayne film, which was an excellent film, by the way. Gary Young found einkorn to be a beneficial wheat and a healthy alternative to modern hybridized wheat. Now, he, along with his team of scientists and innovators, created a line of einkorn products for Young Living members to enjoy. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that is available in einkorn. Starting off with pretty much the basic einkorn flour. Yeah, you get einkorn flour. I use this when I make breads, like if I'm making a muffin bread or something like that. I love using einkorn flour. You can pretty much do a 1-to-1 ratio. Sometimes you can either add or delete a little bit of water depending on your taste, but this is really good. I've also made some naan with it, Naan, the little flatbreads. I've done that with einkorn flour. Turned out really well. Really enjoyed that. There is also Einkorn Pancake and Waffle Mix. Now, people rave about this product. They really do. And they say it is the best waffle mix they have ever had. It's a slightly sweet flavor of einkorn blended with legume flours and added protein and fiber. And that makes it rather healthy and tastier than most. And there's also a gluten-free version that doesn't contain einkorn. So if you're feeling bad and saying, well, I can't have pancake and waffle mix because it has gluten, guess what? There's a gluten-free version of this that doesn't have the einkorn in it. But like I said before, if you're gluten sensitive, you might want to try this a little bit because it could make a difference for you. There is something called Ein Cornflakes cereal. They came out with this just about a couple years ago. This stuff is the bomb. This is fantastic stuff. It's a recent addition to the Einkorn line, and this cereal is delicious with no added sugar. I don't put sugar on this, and I don't like putting sugar on cereal anyway. And it has a natural sweet flavor that is really good. Now, Lori and I, we snuck back to the Expo Center many times during convention to grab samples of this because it was really so good. I'm going to show you what it looks like too. See this little bowl here? Yeah, doesn't that look like a bowl of just flaked cereal? Well, you know what? Even without milk, soy milk or coconut milk or whatever kind of milk you use, whatever, this stuff is good on its own plain. Like I said, really, okay, tell you what, I'm going to do this here. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I want to give you guys, here's my microphone. I want to give you guys a good sound here. See, that's a good crunch. I've never done that on a session before, eaten into a microphone. So the Einkorn Flakes, I strongly recommend those. Those are fantastic, and they make a great dry snack. That bowl is going to be emptied after this session, I guarantee you. Now, gotta clear my throat with a little zing here. Zing is a fantastic beverage. We've talked about it before. Back to Einkorn. There's Einkorn granola, which I don't happen to have a bag of at the moment because we ate it all. Really good stuff. Hands down, the best granola I have ever had. Now, the combination of the naturally sourced grains, nuts, berries, and seeds provide both simple and complex carbs to keep you going through the day. Yeah, you need some carbs here and there. This granola is a great way to do it. Crunchy clusters mixed with some chewy dried wolfberries. Man, it is so good. It's a perfect snack to, you can have it for breakfast. You can mix it with parfaits. You can put it in a baggie and take it with you on hikes or walks. If you're able to go out for hikes and walks, that is. Really good stuff. Einkorn granola. If you get a chance to try that, please do. They came out with a pair of Einkorn cracker flavors for a Christmas special not too long ago. And those are pretty good too. So it was like an urban tomato and a sea salt flavor. And I'm hoping they come out with those again because those were pretty darn good. There's Einkorn Berries. Berries, you say? Well, look, on a stem of wheat, each individual kernel is called a berry. So that's a wheat berry. You've heard of wheat berry? That's what it is. Well, there's Einkorn berries. And they come in this big bag here. This thing is huge. Let's see, how many pounds is it? This is a 5-pound bag of Einkorn berries. And that's the source. That's where you get your einkorn flour. That's where you get the einkorn that they put in the crackers and in the granola and in the flake cereal. And this is what the berries look like. They just look like little wheat berries, don't they? It's just like little pieces of wheat. Now, these are great because some of the things you can do with these little tiny things, you can eat them plain if you want. They're not too bad. But I like to roast them with a little bit of olive oil and some sea salt. Tasty stuff. Plus, they're excellent for porridge. If you like making your own porridge, I know porridge and you think of the Three Bears and Goldilocks, but no, porridge is really a good, nutritious breakfast. So you can make porridge, you can grind your own flour with these berries. Whatever you do with wheat, you can do with einkorn. Einkorn is a wheat. And I like roasting them. And you can also sprinkle them on salads when they're roasted too. So they also have two pastas made with einkorn. There's an einkorn spaghetti and an einkorn rotini. Both of those, very good stuff. And einkorn is also used in Young Living's very popular and much loved chocolate-coated wolfberry crisp bars, which many people have described as a healthy Snickers bar. And yes, it really is that good. One of the best things around is the chocolate-coated wolfberry crisp bar. So, in closing, obviously you have plenty of options when it comes to what kind of food you want to put on the table for you and your family. You have plenty of healthy options. You can go to the grocery store, and most grocery stores now, aside from not having toilet paper, they have bulk wheat that you can get. And a lot of times you can get it in einkorn, you can get it with spelt, you can get it with farro, you can get it with all these different ancient grains. Try einkorn because it's really good. Young Living does a great job with einkorn. I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I just want you to know that there are options if you don't want to use regular wheat. We love using the Young Living einkorn products. I can feel good about serving a loaf of bread that I made with einkorn flour or a nice dish of einkorn rotini. I feel good about that because I know it's a better grain. It's a better wheat product, and my body is going to absorb it better. It's going to absorb the nutrients and minerals and vitamins that are in those kernels and in that flour. It's going to absorb it so much better than modern hybridized wheat. An Ein Cornflakes cereal, well, that tasty, healthy snack, this is going to be gone in about 2 minutes after I sign off. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Pass this on to your friends if you like, if you know of anyone who is curious about einkorn. If you are curious about Young Living, we can help you with questions there. If you are joining because somebody asked you to or somebody pointed out to you, talk to them about Young Living and see what you think. It's probably the best decision we've made concerning our health and wellness in our life 5 years ago. So very happy with that. Until the next time we speak, have a great night. Take care. God bless.